Ladies and gentlemen, another absolutely spectacular game has just occurred at the highest levels of chess. A couple of days ago, I made a video and I named it Please Watch This, because as clickbaity as that title was, designed to lure you into the video, it really was the game of the year. Were you not impressed by that game? If you haven't seen that game, go watch the video. It was about 2 or 3 days ago. That game was absolutely breathtaking. And the original title of that video, by the way, was something like Best Game of 2022. So Please Watch This was pretty effective because I think most of you forgave me for such a desperate sounding title. Well, today, I am happy and excited to share with you that the protagonist of that game, Shahryar Mamedyarov, who might have just played the best game of the last 20 years, is about to do it again. In today's video, he played a game against Ricard Rapport, and it was in the same tournament. Mamedyarov, after doing it once, did it again. Now, I'm going to give you like a 30-second breakdown of that game in case you haven't seen it. The Geary game, the very first game, the epic game. If you have seen it, well, I mean, buckle up. I mean, it's good to see it a second time. In that game, Mamedyarov sacrificed a pawn. He then proceeded to sacrifice a rook. He then proceeded to sacrifice a knight and a bishop. And last but not least, his queen to get another promotion. I mean, it was an unbelievable game. It was a masterpiece. It was a game that you do the equivalent of hanging on your refrigerator, all right, for the rest of your life. And today, Shahryar Mamedyarov, in today's video, wants to show all of you that he is not finished. This time, Mamedyarov, against Rapport, was with the black pieces. Of course, we're going to watch it from his perspective, because he is our knight in shining armor, all right? He is our Lord of the Dragons, if you will. This game was incredible. And by the way, Rapport is Romanian now. Like, he's Hungarian by birth, but he now plays for Romania. He actually changed federations. Okay, I hope you're ready. Give me 10 minutes of your time, please. It's gonna be amazing. E4, E5. Now, the king's pawn symmetrical game, you would not think would lead to spectacular dynamics unless, you know, Rapport played some crazy gambit or a king's gambit or, you know, some scholars made invitation. No, we have knight f3, knight c6. I mean, this is all boring stuff. But generally from here, white plays bishop c4, white plays bishop b5, white plays the scotch or whatever at the highest level. Keep in mind, these are like 2 top 10 players. Rapport plays one of his specialties. He plays an absolute sideline, something that is not popular whatsoever at the highest level, g3. This move in and of itself is not a horrible move. I know the engine gives black some advantage here, but at a high depth, it's just equal. The point is that white wants to play bishop to g2 and d3. White essentially wants to play the King's Indian attack, or the King's Indian setup that black generally plays. Okay, so that's just White's idea. Okay, black develops his knight. There's nothing too complicated about that move, and it attacks the pawn here. And white does not want to commit the knight to c3. White wants to play d3 because then white will play bishop g2 and castles. Now, the benefit of playing this with white is that it turns the game into a completely unique territory. I mean, basically 90% of what the top level players see, 99% of what they see after this position is not this position. Okay, it's normally other stuff. Now, black has 2 approaches, okay? Black has the approach of just developing pieces, and then castling, and then playing this, and then finishing development, and then anticipating what white is gonna do. And the other option is punishing the opponent for being disrespectful and playing these silly openings with immediate central aggression in the form of d5, and Shahryar does not need a second invitation to go party. All right, if you're throwing a party, you got a DJ, you got good food, you got fun guests, you want to invite Shahryar Mamedyarov, he's going to come to your party. You have my word, unless he has like an illness, all right? If he's feeling good, and even then he might just take like some medication, pull up. Shahryar does not need a second invitation to come to the party. E takes d5, queen takes d5. Black now has a very active queen. White puts the bishop on g2, attacking like this. And the funny thing is, they actually played this like this already 9 months ago, 10 months ago. And Mamedyarov in that game gave this check and then went back. And he basically prevented Rapport from developing the knight over here. So they've actually had this exact same position. Mamedyarov's like, oh, we doing this again? You think, what? I'm getting some deja vu here. In this game, rather than finishing the development of the light scored bishop, Shahryar says, nah, we're solving our problems right now. Any UFC fans know when Max Holloway points at the octagon like this, like right here, and then, you know, those last 10 seconds with Lamas, or with Poirier or something. Yeah, that's what Shahryar, like, he's like, all right, right now, let's go. Let's go, let's go. So Rapport plays knight c3, all right? Knight c3 attacks the pawn and the queen. The only way to prevent getting into some trouble here is to develop a piece, which Mamedyarov does with the move bishop to b4. Very provocative move here, right? And now white plays knight g5. So there's no attack on the knight. And now, as the knight comes here, defended by the bishop, Rapport is just winning this pawn. He has 4 pieces that potentially see this pawn. Mamedyarov have been caught out. But not really, because bishop g4. All right, both bishops zooming in out of nowhere. Okay, this hits the queen. The queen's got to move. There's actually a trick here. Knight takes e4 for white. And if you take the queen, then white actually does this, and it's check, and this happens. But apparently there's like a line there where black is okay, and, you know, rather than getting involved in all that, Rapport plays queen d2. He says, my king, I will protect you from this bishop. You will be able to get out. Mamedyarov captures, and just absolutely gives away the pawn in the center. I mean, this is, to win a beautiful, breathtaking, captivating game of chess, you gotta take some risks. High risk, high reward, all right? Shahryar ain't none of these bantamweight fighters. Shahryar is a heavyweight brawler, all right? Someone's getting knocked out in his games when he wants to. Notice how he activates white's queenside, just a direct line of assault, but he understands that since Rapport is gonna go this way, they gotta get the kings on opposite sides. That is the only way to ensure a crazy attacking game. If your castle's on the same side, ain't nobody getting a crazy attacking game. We have this pawn is dead. Nah, ain't nobody guarding that pawn, okay? So what does he do? He's like, well, I know that Rapport's got to spend the move taking this. Time for my horse to go for this king. Knight e5. Now, he could have played it carefully. He could have played bishop f3 and tried to go for this position where the pawn survives and then the light squared bishop kind of comes out or puts pressure. No, Mamedyarov's like, dude, I don't need the pawn. Take the pawn. The best move here for white is to play queen e3, trying to attack this weakened pawn to get to black's king fast, okay? And then white would have to defend it, and then, you know, pawn would come, bishop would show up as well. But it's a very sharp position. And I mean, rapid allows you to play these kind of crazy attacking positions. Knight e5 has a very clear indication that you would like to go to the f3 square. Queen e3 is the best move. Rapport plays the third best move according to the computer, which is this move, which attacks the queen. Now, the queen has the option of sidestepping, right, and activating the rook this way. I think Mamedyarov didn't like that, and instead he shoves the queen forward, attacking the rook, okay? Now, the incredible thing here is that rook doesn't have to be defended. He did defend it. He played rook to b1, which, as you know, any human would play that move, but as it turns out, there is a move here, queen b4 for white. You can take, but suddenly bishop b2, and you're trapped. If you play queen takes a2, I can go here, and then I'll trap your queen. And if I don't get to trap your queen, you try to escape, queen c5 and its mate coming very soon. So queen d4 is like a deceptive move, but Rapport's like, I don't think Mamedyarov is going to fall for all that after queen b4. So I'm just going to move my rook. I mean, he's helping me, all right? Shach plays h6, okay? Attacking the knight. Very sharp right now. Once the knight relinquishes the defense of this square, knight f3 is on the way. Now, the best move here for white is the move knight takes e4. It's time for him to take that pawn, because after knight takes e4, there is this with some sort of attack on the king, but that's a little bit hard to find. And instead of that, Rapport plays something pretty logical. Rapport plays the move queen to b4. Now, I'm actually going to turn off Stockfish here. Just going to very quickly just remove the eval bar, because I just want to show you this so that Stockfish doesn't spoil anything for you. Queen b4 is a very logical move because you attack b7 and you hunt the king into the center of the board. And black can't actually take the knight, right? Black can't take the knight because after this, and bishop to b2, there are problems, okay? Like, white is going to take, and then white is going to get the rook here, and there's going to be a very devastating attack on the black king, right? That's what's going to happen. Bishop b2, and then he's going to take. Let's bring Stockfish back real quick. But why is it -5? Because in this position, Shahryar Mamedyarov shows us brilliance. Something he had foreseen many, many moves ago. Rook takes h2. What? What does that even do? What? And look, Stockfish doesn't even realize how strong it is until you play it. Now it's like minus 19. Oh my, minus 30. The game is over. The game is over. White thought he was breaking into the position with queen b7 and bishop b2, and all of a sudden, rook takes h2. You go, Levy, what? Report resigned. He resigned here. What? I don't understand. Allow me to explain. If white takes the queen for free, Mamedyarov had foreseen a 6-move combination. You could even call it a 10-move combination all the way back here. All of this he had foreseen. Rook h2, if bishop d4, check. You can't go really here because I'm going to keep coming after you. This and bishop f3, king g1, and there's no way to stop mate. On a full board of pieces, 22 points of pieces. You add the pawns, it's 28. Nobody can stop mate. This king is wide open. You can give the king a check. This is the only move, and the king just runs here and is completely safe. White can sack the queen to deflect the rook. Nobody can stop the mate. Nobody. The white position is completely incapable of defending the king. Their one job. They failed. Oh my goodness. That's what happens if you take the queen. And if you take the rook, it doesn't get much better. Check here, check here. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. You can check me. I'm going to e6. You can check me. Well, at this point, I can save my queen and I'm still mating you. Unbelievable. Bishop b2, rook takes h2. A completely unrelated move on the opposite side of the board, hanging 14 points of material at the same time, with the king standing in the center of the board, evicted from his castle. And the game is over. Shahryar does it again, just in spectacular style. All of this, everything he did in this game, provocative opening, all right? Basically sacrificing a pawn and giving his opponent the bishop pair. Both traditional advantages by chess standards. Stockfish not giving him the blessing of the position, but his opponent is not Stockfish. All right, his opponent doesn't know it's plus 1.3. His opponent sees this and is getting nervous. And nervous he got. And nervous he got. And he thought he was getting his opponent into a little bit of a bad spot here. Rook takes h2. Game over. Are you happy you clicked on the video? I told you I would take about 10 minutes of your time. It took about 13. I'm sorry, but I hope this was an enjoyable video. Shahryar Mamedyarov is on a roll, turning back the clock to 19th century chess without engines, playing romantically, sacrificing all of his pieces, and dazzling the millions of chess fans around the world. I'll see you in the next video. Get out of here.